Hello everyone, welcome to our online class. Standard 7 Subject Science, Lesson number 14 Elements, Compounds and Mixture Part 2. In our previous video, we had studied about matter, properties of matter, object, substance, mixture and elements. In this video, we are going to study about metals, non-metals, metalloids, alloy, compound and mixture. In day-to-day life, we use short forms in many places. A similar method is used to indicate elements. The scientist Berzelius was the first to use the present method of using symbols for elements. The symbol of an element is written in the English script and is the short form of its name. When the initial letter in the names of two or more elements is same, a pair of letters is used to write the symbol. For example, we write C for carbon and Cl for chlorine. Elements are generally classified into two groups, metal and non-metals. We have studied the properties of metals such as malleability, ductility, conductivity of heat, electricity, density, luster and sonority. The elements that do not show this property are called non-metals. For example, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine. The elements that show some properties of metal and some properties of non-metals are called metalloids. Metals are shiny. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Metal can be shaped without breaking. Malleability is the ability to be bent or flattened or hammered without breaking. Ductility is the ability to pull into thin wires without breaking. Non-metal. Elements that lack most of the properties of metal located to the right of the zigzag line in the periodic table. It is a very common element, extremely important to all living things on the earth. Non-metal is a material that is dull, softer. It is mostly lack metallic attributes. Physically, non-metal tend to be highly volatile, have low elasticity and are good insulator of heat and electricity. 17 elements are generally classified as non-metals. Properties of non-metal: they are brittle, they break easily, so they aren't malleable and ductile. Difference between metal and non-metal. Metal: light that strikes metal is reflected in one direction. Light that strikes non-metal is reflected in many directions. This makes a metal look shiny. This makes non-metal look dull and unreflective. Metal are said to be lustrous. Non-metal are said to lack luster. What is an alloy? An alloy is a mixture or metallic solid solution composed of two or more elements. Alloys usually have different properties from those of those components. Some metal cannot be used in their pure form. In such case, the properties of the original metal are modified by mixing one or more element in it. This type of mixture of metal is called an alloy. Example: brass, steel, 22 karat gold. Take sugar in a test tube and heat the test tube. Observe what happened, what remained behind. Using tongs, hold a magnesium ribbon in a flame and observe what changes took place in the about to experiment. In the first case, the sugar melts and it loses water, leaving behind a black substance. This black substance is carbon. There is only carbon left in the test tube. When the magnesium ribbon is burned, it forms oxide nitrate of magnesium. The ribbon turns into grayish color powder. The substance formed by a chemical combination of two or more elements is called compound. If the atom in the molecule are of compound is formed. For example, water. In one molecule of water, there are two hydrogen and one oxygen atom. Oxygen helps in combustion and water stops the combustion. The properties of compound are different from those of the constituent elements. Example: hydrogen is combustible and it can burn. Even if these both atoms are present, water does not support combustion. Compound. Compound is a substance made up of two or more elements chemically combined together. lose their original properties and produce new substances can be broken down into a simpler type of matter by chemical means but not by physical means, and has a different properties from its component element. Metalloid. Physical properties more like those of metals, but chemical reactivity is more like that of non-metals. Many atomic properties are intermediate between those of metal and of non-metals. Elements classified as metalloids have physical properties of both metals and non-metals. Shiny, some are dull, somewhat malleable and ductile. Semiconductor of heat and electricity conduct at a lesser level than metals. Example: boron, silicon, arsenic. Molecular formula of a compound is a short form of its name written with the help of the symbol of the constituent elements and the number of their respective atoms. A molecule of a compound is formed by a chemical combination of atoms of two or more elements. Therefore, a molecular formula is used to represent a compound. A molecular formula of a compound is a short form of its name written with the help of the symbols of the constituent elements and the number of their respective atoms. Mixture. A mixture is formed by mixing different elements or compound. The proportion of various components in a mixture is not fixed. No chemical changes take place during the formation of mixture and no new substance is formed. You might remember that mixing unwanted substances in any foodstuff is called adulteration. In other words, an adulterated food is also a kind of mixture. When an unwanted and harmful substance is mixed with another substance, the resulting mixture no longer remains useful. In such case, we separate the unwanted ingredient from the mixture. For this purpose, simple and easy methods such as staining, shifting, picking, sorting, winnowing, combing with a magnet, and sublimation are used. We have already learned about the properties of matter and the effects of heat. These properties are also used for separating the component of a mixture. In our next video, we are going to study about method of distillation, method of separation using separating funnel, method of centrifugation, and method of chromatography. Thank you.